Hey, I'm Yogi, and here we are with the second to last episode of making custom Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes for Hitman Reborn characters. If you haven't seen the other ones, this is a little series I'm doing, going through the 10th generation Wagla family and making custom Yu-Gi-Oh decks for each and every one of them. And this one will be on their sword user, Yamamoto. So, like the videos before, I'm going to go over the cards by themselves, and then at the end, I'm going to get on Dueling Book and do some combos for you. And by the time this episode comes out, the cards should be available to use for free on Dueling Book as well. But with that, let's get into the Swordsman archetype. So here we are with the first card, Rain Style Swordsman. Level 4 Water Monster, Warrior, 1800 attack, 900 defense. And of course, this card is supposed to be Yamamoto, but let's get to the effects. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Swordsman monster from your deck to your hand. And the second effect is, during the end of the main phase, all monsters your opponent controls in this card's column lose 300 attack and defense. And you can only use the first effect of this card once per turn. So of course, we got a monster searcher, as all the decks need to have at some point. And then the second effect is supposed to be a reference to the rain flames that Yamamoto has, you know, how they slow things down, that's their effect. But yeah, not much to it. So let's get to the next one. Next we have Culinary Style Swordsman, Water, level 3 Warrior Monster, 1300 attack, 1600 defense. This is supposed to be based on Yamamoto's dad, Yugioh. Its effect is, if you control no monsters or all Swordsman monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Rain spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. And you can only use each effect once per turn. You know, he's a spell trap searcher for a Rain spell or trap. And I gave him a destruction effect, you know, because Yamamoto learned from his dad, so we know he's pretty good with a sword. But let's get to the next monster. Next we have Shark Style Swordsman, Water attribute, level 6 Warrior, 2200 attack, 2000 defense. And this art is based on Squallow. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand by placing one Swordsman monster that you control or is in your graveyard, except for Shark Style Swordsman, on the bottom of your deck. And during the main phase, if you control another Swordsman monster, quick effect, you can target one monster your opponent controls. This card gains that monster's effect until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect of Shark Style Swordsman once per turn. So he has a way to special summon himself from the hand, and the second effect is supposed to reference Squallow, how in the anime and manga, he can basically copy sword styles of the people he fights. The next monster, Mist Style Swordsman. This one's a dark attribute, level 7 Illusion type, 2400 attack, 1900 defense. And this one is supposed to be Ginkashi, who's also known as the Phantom Knight, which is kind of funny because that's a Yu-Gi-Oh archetype. During your main phase, you contribute one Swordsman monster you control, and then special summon this card from your graveyard. This card gains one additional attack for each other Swordsman monster you control, but the maximum amount of attacks he can do is 4 though. And once per turn, as a quick effect, you can discard one card, and one Swordsman monster you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. Like I said earlier, this is based on Ginkashi. And you know, since Ginkashi's a Mist Style user, give him the dark attribute and the illusion type too. So the first effect is supposed to reference how after the base raid arc, you know, everyone kind of thought like he was dead, but then, you know, he kind of showed back up later. The additional attacks obviously references his 4 swords, which is why he can only do 4 attacks at maximum. And the quick effect is supposed to be him using his Mist Flames, which make an illusion. So a monster you control will not be destroyed by your opponent's card effects because he's using illusions to basically like trick the opponent into thinking like, oh, you know, oh, you got him, but then you didn't do it, you know. On to the next card. And we have Rain Style Retainer Yugioh, level 3 Water. This one's a beast, 1100 attack, 700 defense. And look at him, isn't he so cute? Come on now, look at the art. But yeah, this is supposed to be Yamamoto's box weapon, one of his box weapons, Yugioh. You can special summon this card from your hand if you control a level 4 or lower Swordsman monster. Once per turn, you can target one Swordsman monster you control, have it gain 600 attack and defense. And during the main phase, if the turn this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Rain Style Swordsman from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So yeah, since he's a box weapon, I decided to give him a little special summon effect from the hand, because I learned from doing Habari's deck that, you know, not giving him that would probably be pretty bad. But yeah, and then giving a Swordsman monster attack and defense is basically him just giving him one of the swords that he's carrying on his little pouch. And then just a little graveyard searching effect too, just to add something on top. Of course, the next one is Rain Style Swallow Code Yugioh, level 3 Water, Winged Beast, 300 attack, 1400 defense. And once again, look at it, isn't it just so cute? I mean, look at him. But just like Yugioh, you can special summon from the hand if you control level 4 or lower Swordsman monster. Once per turn, you can choose one of your unused main monster zones. Move this card to that zone, then lower the attack and defense of all monsters your opponent controls in between the column of the zone this card was in and the column of the zone this card has moved to by 300. You can only use each effect once per turn. Now that might be worded kind of weirdly, but you know, like how in the anime, KHR is kind of used to like fly above like a fight and like drops rain flames, which slow down an enemy, obviously hit by it over time. So this is supposed to be that, but basically it's almost like kind of like pendulum summoning. It's like, you know, the two monsters, but you can only summon monsters in between the two numbers. So like if it's a 2 and a 7, you can summon 3 through 6, but not 2 and 7, right? It's kind of like that, I guess, if that makes sense. Like if he's in the farthest left zone, and then you move them to the farthest right zone, the 3 zones in the middle will be the ones affected, basically. So I think it was a cool little effect, the way of doing it, you know. Now the last monster, which is the fusion, of course. We have Gen 10 Swordsman, Yamamoto, Yugioh, and KHR. A level 7 water monster, warrior, 2600 attack, 2500 defense. So this needs a rain style swordsman, a rain style retainer Yugioh, and rain style swallow KHR. Must first be special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above cards you control to the graveyard. If this card is summoned, you can target one card on the field, destroy all cards your opponent controls in that card's column, then have this card gain 300 attack for each card destroyed this way. And during the end of the main phase, all monsters your opponent controls in the same column as this card lose 500 attack and defense. You can only use the first effect of this card once per turn. So this is Yamamoto's Cambio Forma. Specifically, this is the manga one where he gets 2 swords instead of having the 1 long one and 3 short ones. For the effects, I tried to like obviously put the monsters together, but also a little bit different too. And the second effect, that's not on a hard once per turn because it's at the end of the main phase. So basically, you could do it in the main phase 1 and in the main phase 2, and that goes for your turns and your opponent's turn as well. I think the card's fine, you know, not too powerful, but not too bad either. A more technical kind of card, you know. Well, that's all the monsters, so now let's head on to the spells. We have Rain Style Training up first, which is a normal spell. You can only activate this card if you control all swordsman monsters. You can add 1 level 4 or lower rain style monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 rain card in your graveyard, except rain style training, and add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. The art here is supposed to be when Yamamoto was first learning how to use his sword style Shigure Soen Ryu from his dad when he's in the little dojo and he's like slicing bamboo shoot things. But yeah, basically it's a searcher, which can help you get to one of the box weapons, you know, Yugioh or KHR, but also, you know, a little bit of recycling where you can get a rain card from your graveyard back to your hand. Next we have Shigure Kintoki, an equipped spell, and in the art, as you can see, it's Yamamoto's dad giving, you know, Yamamoto the Shigure Kintoki sword. This card is always treated as a rain card. This card can only be equipped to a water attribute swordsman monster, and the monster gains 500 attack and defense. If the equipped card would be destroyed by your opponent, you can destroy this card instead. During the end phase, if this card in your graveyard was destroyed this turn, you can add this card to your hand, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So a pretty simple equip spell, kind of just acts almost like a union monster where it will destroy itself instead of the monster equipped to it, but it also adds itself back to the hand, which is kind of supposed to reference the moment when the sword had cracks in it against his fight against Genkashi. So that's kind of supposed to be that where like, even though the sword goes away, like, oh, it was destroyed, it's actually it wasn't really destroyed, you know. Next one is Battle for the Rain, quick play spell. See, I don't know why it's doing that, but it's whatever. The effect is when a swordsman monster you control attacks or is targeted for an attack involving an opponent's monster, you can destroy the opponent's monster. Let me go back just so we can have the art up here. Obviously the art here is based on Yamamoto versus Squallow in the Varia arc, of course. And it's basically just a simple effect, you know, just trying to destroy a monster in the battle, basically, no matter whether they were stronger or not. But yeah, not much to this. Next one is Bat to Blade, quick play spell. This card is treated as a rain card, of course. Tribute 1 monster you control. Special summon 1 swordsman monster from your hand or deck with a level equal to or lower than the attributed monster's level. You can only activate 1 Bat to Blade per turn. So, effect to get more monsters out of the deck. And of course, the art here is supposed to be referencing when Yamamoto was given his metal bat from Reborn, which was a regular baseball bat. When it was swung at a high enough speed, it would turn into a sword, which was really cool, by the way. I kind of wish they like kept that. Shigure Kintoki is pretty cool too, but like, I don't know, a transforming sword, you know, like from a bat to a sword. Shigure Kintoki is like, oh, it's a regular like bamboo sword, but once it's swung hard enough, it will reveal itself to be like an actual sword, you know. So basically the same idea, but I don't know, the bat seemed more in character, I guess. But that thing also kind of lends more to the theory that like Yamamoto's dad kind of has to do a little something with the mafia, because like, how do you have a sword that can do that kind of in the same way as like the one Reborn gave him when they both switched to a real sword, you know? It's interesting. But now's not the time for theories, now's the time for cards. Next one, a Chat with the Rain, quick play spell. If a swordsman monster you control was destroyed by your opponent, you can target that monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. Another simple card, you know, just to bring back a monster that you lost back from your grave. But the art here is supposed to be Yamamoto and Suna, you know, on top of the school. If you read the manga, you know how like they were introduced was actually different in the anime. In the anime, it was due to a volleyball match. In the manga, you know, Yamamoto talked to Suna, asked for his advice, got his arm broken, went to the top of the school because he was like, is life really worth living now, you know? And then, you know, Suna comes in, tries to talk him out of it and all that, and, you know, after that, you know, they become friends. It's a nice little moment, you know. So yeah, that's what the art is here. Now we'll be moving on to the traps. We have Shigure, Son, Ryu, Sharp Rain, normal trap. Target one sword of the monster you control for the rest of the turn against ranged attack and the following effect. Once return quick effect, you can target one card your opponent controls or is in their hand and destroy that card. You can only activate one of this card per turn. So the thing I did with, like, you'll see with the following trap cards is obviously Shigure, Son, Ryu, the sword style that Yamamoto uses, which has 8 forms. Well, at the beginning it has 8 forms, 4 offensive ones and 4 defensive ones. So basically I would go through the different forms they had and would take which one and name it after that. So Sharp Rain is actually based on the manga one, which is kind of shown in the art here, where like once he has 2 swords, which he has on the art too. Sharp Rain is the one where the different water birds come out and attack you know, an enemy basically. This one is the 12th form, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, so it is a part of the 12th form. But yeah, it's the 12th form has 2 different ones. One for, you know, Jiro the dog, and one for Kojiro. Sharp Rain is the one for Kojiro, where a bunch of like rain flames come out in the shape of birds, basically, and attack the enemy. So I took that and put it as you can just destroy a card your opponent controls or in their hand too, because it's like a long range effect. Move to the next one. Now we have Shigure, Son, Ryu, Splashing Rain, a counter trap. If your opponent activates a spell trap card or a monster effect while you control a water or dark attribute swordsman monster, negate the activation and destroy it. And you can banish 1 rain card from your graveyard. Set this card on your field, but it's banished when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So this form is based on the 7th form, which is a defensive form, and is the first one we see with Yamamoto during the rain battle. The one where he brings up the water as the shield, basically. So I took that as, obviously it's a defensive form, so it would be a counter trap. I guess I could have made it where it only works on a water attribute swordsman, because obviously, you know, splashing rain, so it's weird that a dark attribute would do it too, but I just figured, you know, might as well put it for the whole archetype, you know. Next one is Shigure, Son, Ryu, Clash of Swallow Rain, normal trap. You can activate this card the turn it was set by banishing 1 swordsman or rain card from your graveyard. Target 1 swordsman monster you control, negate the effects of all cards your opponent controls in the same column as your monster until the end of the next turn. You can only activate 1 of this card per turn. So this trap is based on the 10th form, Scontro D Rodin, which is based on Squallow's move, you know, Scontro D Squallow, where, you know, he runs forward with like Kojiro kind of gets in front of him and like has the rain, flames, and the waters all around him basically for like an all-out attack going in a straight line. Could have made it like an attack thing, but I wanted to make it more like a, almost kind of like a defensive thing where like he's running in a straight line, so everything in the column gets negated. Now, if I could figure out a way to make him be affected by nothing except for walls, you know, then I would have put that on the card, but you know, there's no terminology in Yu-Gi-Oh to really do that. But I still think it's a cool card either way, you know, as long as he doesn't run into a wall. And that is the last trap. I honestly forgot I only made 3 of these traps, but that was the last one. That was all the cards for the archetype. So I guess as always, now I'll just head over to the dueling book and show you some combos. So here we are on the dueling book. Of course, we're gonna start off with some small combos, you know, as always, show off like something the deck can do with like 1 or 2 cards. So let's try and see how far we can go with just rain style swordsman, right? We're gonna start off by normal summoning him. Of course, you know, we're gonna use the effect here, add a swordsman monster from deck to hand. We're gonna add culinary style swordsman, aka his father. Now, since we control all swordsman monsters, we could special summon them from hand. Then declare the effect. Add a range spell or trap from deck to hand. Now, the question is, which one do we want to add, right? We'll just add training, I guess. We can activate that. Since we control swordsman ones, add a level 4 lower range style one. So we can add, so we'll just add Jiro. Special summon him out. I guess we'll use the effect here. So we'll target him. Give him 600 attack and defense. So that'll go up to 24 and 15, and that's it. Because we can't summon, well, we can't summon him out. I guess we could not do that. We can go into an area. I mean, so off of Yamamoto, you're basically just doing this, I guess. All right, so not much. I guess 3 monsters isn't bad, just going off of 1, but obviously not the greatest thing. You know, as I look, it always happens every single time I start like playing with the deck. That's like the best way to figure out like how your deck works. But like the more I do this, you know, I always realize something. With this deck, I realize, you know, there aren't really too many ways of getting to the big monsters. There's no way of getting to a, you know, mist style, shark style swordsman. So we'll try with 2 cards, right? It's gonna be very similar to the first one, basically. So we're gonna normal summon him, gonna search out culinary, special summon him, obviously. And this time we're gonna add, where are you? Bat to Blade. We're gonna activate Bat to Blade this time. We're gonna tribute our culinary style to summon a level 3. I said we're gonna summon out level 3, I just realized we're basically just summoning out a second version of him. Then we're gonna use Squall's effect here by placing a swordsman monster you control or in the graveyard on the bottom of the deck. Putting him back, we can special summon out the Squallow. And now during the main phase, we can, quick effect, target a monster our opponent controls and they'll gain that effect. In the Yamamoto, of course, any monster in this card's column during the end of the main phase will lose its 300 attack and defense. But obviously they could just play around that. So that goes into that. But again, not much, He doesn't have too many like 1 or 2 card combos that really go many places. So let's see if we can do a bigger combo. Alright, let's try this maybe, see if we can do something. So we'll do Foolish Burial here. Gonna send the Mist-style Swordsman to Gray just to get him in there. Almost summon, use the effect. We'll add Shark-style Swordsman here. We'll Bat to Blade, tributing here to summon Culinary. Culinary effect, add a rain spell or trap. We'll add Splashing Rain here. We'll use Mist-style Swordsman effect Engrave to tribute 1 swordsman monster you control to special summon them from grave. And we're gonna be able to use Shark Styles in our hand, put the Rain style swordsman back on the bottom of the deck to special summon him out, and then we can set Splashing Rain, so now we have a counter trap. So now we have a, once per turn, obviously a monster effect copy basically. We have a Omni Negate, and this style swordsman effect isn't gonna go off right now. He can, he currently has 2 attacks, but he can't use his discard effect right now because obviously I don't have anything else in hand just off of the 3 cards. But this isn't too bad either. But again, not much. So we're just gonna try another play that gets us fusion monsters. So we'll normal summon here, search out culinary style. Of course, gonna special summon himself to use the effect to add any spell or trap. We'll just add Splashing Rain again. And then we'll special 1, special summon 2. We'll use the effect targeting culinary style this time, just to make him a little bit bigger there. Then we can send 1, 2, and 3 to grave. Special summon out the Gen 10 monster here. Nothing to destroy right now, of course at the end of the main phase is winning, really does. He's more of like a going second kind of card. But then we set Splashing Rain, Omni Negate, and then I'm feeling like, kind of like with Hibari's deck, it doesn't really do too much, it's not very high power, Like, I feel like it has a lot of tools like going second though to kind of help it. But let's try some 5-card hands, see what they do. Well, Moray Agree would be good if you were water, wouldn't it? Let's activate Rhoda here. Add him to hand. Do I dare? Yeah, we'll activate Moray Agreed, Put him on the top, put you on the bottom. Shuffle and then draw 3. 1 more, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's something. So we'll normal summon here. Effect. We'll search out Culinary. Special summon him. We'll add Bat the Blade. We'll do Rain Style Training here to add a Rain Style card. We'll add Yugioh. We'll activate Bat to Blade. Send this to summon out. Never mind, it only summons out a swordsman monster. See, because like that's the problem too. It won't let me. I was thinking about going into Yugioh obviously, but you're not a swordsman monster. So yeah, I'll probably go back and change some of these cards. Make this one grab any swordsman or maybe like range style card. Also make it to where it can also maybe tribute a monster from hand as well. So that way I can tribute him, make it 7 and bring out the 6 or anyone basically. Yeah, I'll do that because that's definitely gonna make it a lot better. But I guess we'll just keep him on field then. Basically then, I guess there's no reason to grab you then. So let's put you back. Let's grab a different spell trap then, since obviously I don't know how to play my own deck. Just had Sharp Rain. Special summon this. If we were going second, we can use his effect here. It'd be like, boom, we move from here all the way over here. And again, everything in these middle columns would lose 300 attack and defense. We can set 1, set 2, go into area for no reason, and then pass there. After this, I'm definitely going to change some of those cards. Again, really it's just Rain Style Training and Bat to Blade, I feel like, just to make it so that way those two can go into more of the bigger monsters. That's really like the only problem I see right now. So, but give me 1 second. Let me see if I can figure out what would be the best hand, I guess. Okay, I think this should be good. So let's start with Foolish Burial, right? Gonna send Mist Style, not the hand to grave. No, go to the graveyard. Thank you. If we do that, normal summon, use the effect. We're gonna search out Shark Style. Activate this now to add a level 4 lower range style monster from deck to hand. We're gonna add KHR. I guess we might as well just summon out both of these real quick. Summon, special summon out you as well. Use his effect. We'll just add Splashing Rain here. Okay, now let me make sure I do this right. We're gonna first use Mist style swordsman. It's sending or tributing culinary style. Tributing him, summoning out him. We're gonna use Jiro's effect, targeting him. That way he gains 600 attack and defense, 3025. You know, he is now a blue eyes on field. We will use Shark style swordsman's effect, putting him on the bottom of the deck, our culinary style, to special summon him out. Then we will send 1, 2, 3 to grave, special summon out Gen 10 Jiro Code Jiro. Then, you know, if he had any cards on summon, then we can, like, you know, target whatever, destroy again, he would gain attack. But for right now, we just have 3 big monsters we have a blue eye statted myth style swordsman who can attack 3 times. We have the Gen 10 swordsman who at the end of main phase will lower the attack of any card in this card's column. And then of course, you know, if it was turn 2, we could destroy cards your opponent controls when he was summoned. And then we have shark style swordsman, which is a monster effect copy. And then we have an Omni negate. Yeah, sorry about the low power of this one, you know, honestly, again, testing out the cards like this is like the best way to figure out like how they really work and if you really need to change things up. But yeah, I think this is really the best the deck can produce going first with just those cards, you know. Again, I'll go in and change Bat to Blade and Rain style training. But yeah, those are the cards. The updated versions will be available to use on Dueling Book by the time this video comes out. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment down what you thought of the cards, you know, obviously if you think they need to be stronger like I did or not. Subscribe if you want to know when the next one's coming out, because the next one's going to be the last episode in this series where we will be finally going over the cards for the boss Suna. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. All right.